You guys, I am so excited to talk to you about this particular topic. So get you some water, coffee, adult beverage, if that's what you're in the mood for. But I want to talk to you about, is SNHU degree worth it in 2026? And I'm talking to you about it because if you spend even 5 minutes online, you'll see people that are constantly arguing nonstop about, is SNHU worth it? Okay. Others say it's just another online degree program. So I thought I would chime in because here's the reality. Most of the people talking about SNHU have never actually been in the program. They're just talking. So today, I want to give you the answers for someone who's actually doing it right now. So I'm not going to do any marketing hype. This is nothing about Reddit. So if you have had your fingers in that pie of Reddit, trust me, I went down that road myself. I just want to give you a real experience. And that's part of the reason why I made this whole thing, is for the real experience. So first of all, let's talk about who SNHU is actually for. Okay, you have to understand something about SNHU, and this is just from somebody who's actually doing it. SNHU was never designed to compete with like Harvard, MIT, or Stanford. That was never the play. Okay, that's not its mission. SNHU, at its core, is designed for working adults. Okay, online, let me say the SNHU online is designed for working adults who need a flexible path to finish their degree. Just keeping it simple. So people who work full time, have families, changing careers, or returning to school after you've been away for a couple of years. Trust me, I know about that. So if that's you and you're trying to figure out if you're in the right place because you're deciding if you're going to go back to school, SNHU is for you. I'm here to tell you. So the structure is built around real life, okay? It is not a traditional college experience. So if you are looking for that, and I'm going to give you an example. Let's say that you are 45, 46, 47. You have been in the workforce for a while and you're considering going back to school. And in the process of that, you considered SNHU. Real life people, okay? You're not going to get, and you probably don't want, the college experience. You're not looking to go sit inside of a lecture classroom like a 19 or 20-year-old. Okay, you're looking to get your work done on a consistent cadence. So let's talk about that. Your classes will run 8-week terms. So every 8 weeks, you go to the next term, which means you take fewer classes at once, but you move through the program steadily. Now, just to go into a little bit more detail about that, when I first started going to SNHU, to give you a little bit of a background, I had gone through tons of different schools. Okay. I had gone through a lot of tech schools. I had gone through wanting to be a personal trainer and learning about that. I went through a lot of different things. And this was the one thing that provided a really good structure for me, because every 8 weeks I knew I was changing to a different class, which worked for me. So for a lot of people, the structure is the difference between like you finishing a degree or not finishing a degree. So if you are considering SNHU because you want like a college experience and fraternities and things like that, do they have that? Yes, they do. There is actually an SNHU, a Southern New Hampshire University campus. So this is not just an online school. They have an actual campus. So yes, you do have the options of the things that you do, like you would do in a regular college, but that's not what the experience is designed around. So let's talk about the second thing, the truth about, do employers respect SNHU? I want to address that only because that is a bigger question that I have received a lot in my videos, is, do employers respect an SNHU degree? And I'm going to give you my honest answer. Most employers could care less about who your degree is from. If they're more interested in the skills that you bring and less about what name is on a diploma. So that is not to say that SNHU cannot get you a job, but they're not going to, this is not MIT. You're not paying for the name. You are paying for the convenience of going to school as a adult. So if you're in IT, like me, if you are in cybersecurity, like me, if you are in business, project management, those type of things, if you can demonstrate a real experience, you have certifications or projects that you can show and some problem solving ability, that's what companies are looking for. So if you are trying to work for another person, then this is something to consider. So the school name is less as important as the skill that you bring to the table. I work in IT myself, and I can tell you that something most people don't realize about IT is many hiring managers don't even ask where your degree came from. They just want to see that you finished one. So you kind of concentrating, if you can afford to go to SNHU, you have a scholarship to go, you have something that can allow you to go, make it happen. Okay, let's not second guess it. One of the biggest myths, and this is something that I've heard from a number of people when I talk about I am an online student at SNHU, they're just like, oh, that must be really easy. Okay, the term is easy. And what they're actually saying is it must be easy for you to get a degree versus someone who's going to school. And I think the idea comes from people misunderstanding how like online actually works. Because as I said, when I started, most people are not that are talking about SNHU have never been to SNHU. They're comparing it to either a school that they went to and they know nothing about SNHU. Okay. At SNHU, you are responsible for weekly discussion posts. You are responsible for research papers and projects and ongoing assignments. So there are no lectures that you just sit through. So in a traditional school, you sit through a lecture, you turn in papers, you can go in and see your professor. That is not the way that SNHU works. So to be clear, there are no lectures that you sit through at SNHU. Okay, you're not going to go and sit through a lecture. You actually have to manage your own time. You have to read the material and produce the work every week. Okay, remember, it's 8 weeks rotating. So you have to produce that. If you fall behind, that 8-week term moves really quickly. So you're going on vacation. Let me give you an example of that. Just because you're going on vacation and you're in the middle of a class, you are still responsible for that work. You've got to figure out how to get that work turned in by Sunday. Okay, however you do, that's up to you, but you have to manage that. So the reality is the program requires a lot of self-discipline, and people who are just like, oh, it's easy, don't understand that the people who are successful at going to SNHU and being an online student have a significant amount of self-discipline, because they've got to do all of that plus run their regular life. I work a regular job, okay? I have a home life. I have hobbies that I do. I have to manage all of that. So what actually matters more than school? This one, I think if you get a minute to really focus in, your degree, and I really hate to say this way, but I have to be transparent. Your degree alone will never carry your career. Okay, so understand that. People, and more so people who are transitioning from other careers, what really matters most is what you do alongside your career. So are you building a portfolio? Are you learning practical tools or skills that you can use? Are you gaining certifications? Are you documenting your projects? Are you developing real world skills? Let me tell you one thing that I wish that someone had told me if I were doing SNHU again. If you do not have a website, your own website, okay, your own piece of the web that you can put in blog posts and projects that you're working on, if you are not building a portfolio, what are you doing? That's a legitimate question. And I'm not trying to be rude, but I'm saying the importance of building something that you own. The degree shows that you can commit to something and finish it. That's what the employer is looking for, and that's what the client is looking for is, can you commit to something and finish it? I was one of those people who went through, kept quitting, kept quitting. So I know what that's like. If that's you, I'm telling you that you can succeed. I am living proof you can succeed at SNHU. But your skills are what open the door. So if you do not have a website, I cannot stress it enough how important it is for you to build up a website. It does not have to be a website that you pay a ton of money for. It can be a free website where you are putting your projects on. But I encourage you to buy your own domain. If you don't know what a domain is, my name is Giovanni, Giovanni. Okay. I bought my domain, Giovanni Hale. Okay. GiovanniHale.com. Okay. I bought that domain. I've also bought another domain, but I own that domain so that when someone goes to search for me, that's what they find. Actually, you'll find I am GiovanniHale.com. So that is my website. That is my part of the world. So when employers get ready to look at me, they can just search Giovanni Hale and boom, they will find my website first. And now they'll find my podcast. So here's my personal take. From my perspective, SNHU has been valuable for a few reasons. First is it gave me a structured path to continue learning while working full time. And maybe for you, it's the same thing. Second, the program forces you to think critically about topics like cybersecurity, risk management, systems planning, and like technology strategy. Those are all key. So if you are considering if that's something that you want to do, just remember my third point. It proves to employers that you can manage work, life, and education at the same time. Keep in mind, I have been doing this now for 4 years. I have been working full time. I have been living my life and doing school all at the same time. And so can you. That is not easy. All right. So is it worth it? Is a SNHU degree worth it in 2026? For the right person, absolutely. If you're looking for a flexible program, a legitimate accredited degree, and a path that works around like your real life, then SNHU can be a great option. But remember, like I said, come here. No degree replaces the skills, discipline, and experience. Nothing is going to do that but you. So don't think that this degree is going to somehow put you in some magic place. Your career will always depend more on what you build and not just a diploma to hang on your wall. So if you're currently in SNHU, or you're thinking about enrolling in SNHU, I'd love to hear about your experience. You can drop a comment below. And if you want more honest conversations about like IT careers, school, and building like a real path forward, make sure you subscribe. All right. And I'll see you in the next one.